When it comes to prisons, few have earned as fearsome a reputation as Pyatak Prison, often dubbed Russia's Alcatraz. Located on a remote island in Lake Ladoga, northeast of St. Petersburg, Pyatak is one of Russia's most secure and impenetrable penal institutions. Officially known as Penal Colony Number 7, it has earned a notorious reputation not only for its isolation, but also for its brutal conditions and strict regime. Built to house some of Russia's most dangerous criminals, the prison is virtually impossible to escape from, earning it comparisons to the infamous Alcatraz Island prison in the United States. But Pyatak's story goes far beyond just its name. It's a chilling tale of isolation, harsh discipline, and a dark chapter of Russian penal history. Let's dive deep into what makes Pyatak Prison the toughest prison on Fire Island. The geography: a prison built for isolation. Pyatak Prison is uniquely situated on an island roughly 3.5 square kilometers surrounded by the cold waters of Lake Ladoga, the largest lake in Europe. This geographic isolation is its first line of defense against escapes. Unlike mainland prisons, this island prison is cut off by water, and the surrounding terrain is rugged and unforgiving. During the harsh Russian winters, the lake freezes over, ironically providing a dangerous but possible escape route, but the freezing temperatures, patrolling guards, and treacherous terrain make survival nearly impossible. In the summer, the cold lake waters and strong currents are equally forbidding. The island's isolation also means that Pyatak is off the grid. There are no easy supply routes, no nearby towns, and no way for prisoners to blend into any local population. For inmates, this means total confinement, psychological isolation, and a constant reminder that escape is a near impossible dream. Historical background: from Soviet origins to modern infamy. Pyatak's origins date back to the Soviet era. Originally constructed in the 1930s as part of the Soviet Gulag system, it was designed to house political prisoners, hardened criminals, and dissenters during Stalin's reign. Over the decades, the prison evolved but maintained its reputation for extreme conditions. After the fall of the Soviet Union, Pyatak remained one of Russia's strictest penal colonies. Today, it serves primarily as a maximum security prison for those convicted of violent crimes, including murder, terrorism, and organized crime. The Russian penal system categorizes it as a strict regime colony, a designation that dictates severe restrictions on inmate freedoms. The harshness of life in Pyatak is not just due to geography or security. It reflects decades of penal philosophy focused on punishment, control, and deterrence. Its nickname, Russia's Alcatraz, was coined in the late 1990s after a series of failed escape attempts and reports about the brutal prison conditions reached the media. Prison architecture built to break the spirit. Unlike modern prisons designed with rehabilitation in mind, Pyatak's architecture is built for control and containment. The prison complex is surrounded by multiple layers of high walls topped with razor wire and watchtowers that provide 360-degree surveillance. Electronic motion sensors and guard patrols make breaching the perimeter a near-suicide mission. Inside, the prison buildings are stark and utilitarian. The cells are cramped, typically measuring just 3 by 4 meters, with little natural light, bare concrete walls, and metal beds bolted to the floor. Inmates spend up to 22 hours a day confined to these small spaces. The isolation cells are the harshest. These punishment cells, sometimes referred to as kartzer, are designed for solitary confinement. Prisoners placed here endure extreme sensory deprivation, minimal food, and strict silence orders, sometimes for weeks at a time. Communal areas like exercise yards and workshops are heavily monitored. Guards enforce a rigid schedule: wake up, work, mealtimes, and lockdown, leaving no room for deviation or free movement. The inmate population. Who ends up in Pyatak? Pyatak is reserved for the toughest offenders. The prison population is predominantly made up of men convicted of serious violent crimes: murderers, gang leaders, terrorists, and repeat offenders. Because of the prison's reputation and security level, it is also home to inmates who have previously attempted escape or disrupted order in other penal colonies. Prisoners here face a strict hierarchy. Newcomers often endure hazing by more experienced inmates, and violence within the prison is not uncommon. Reports have described internal gangs that control contraband and informal prisoner justice systems. Despite the severity, the prison is still subject to Russian law, and inmates have limited access to legal counsel and family visits, albeit under tightly controlled circumstances. Daily life and routine, a cycle of hardship. Life inside Pyatak is regimented and punishing. The day begins early with a strict wake-up call, followed by roll call, inspections, and breakfast, usually consisting of bland porridge or bread. Prisoners then head to work assignments, which can include labor in workshops, cleaning, or maintenance. Work is mandatory, and refusal results in punishment. The Russian penal system believes hard labor serves both as a means of discipline and a tool for rehabilitation. But in Pyatak, it often feels like a method of survival. Meals are sparse and nutritionally inadequate. typically consisting of watery soups and minimal protein, adding to the physical hardships faced by inmates. Communication with the outside world is severely limited. Prisoners are allowed a brief weekly phone call and rare family visits, but the emotional toll of isolation remains high. Recreation is restricted to short, highly supervised yard times where prisoners can walk or exercise under constant guard surveillance. The brutality, discipline, and punishment. Pyatak is notorious for its harsh disciplinary measures. Guards have wide latitude to enforce rules, and punishment often includes solitary confinement, reduced meals, and physical labor beyond normal quotas. Reports from human rights groups have criticized Pyatak for instances of abuse and mistreatment, including beatings and the use of stress positions. While official policy prohibits such actions, testimonies from former inmates paint a grim picture of everyday life. Psychological pressure is another form of punishment. The constant surveillance, enforced silence, and sensory deprivation in punishment cells are designed to break prisoners' spirits. Despite this, many inmates endure years or even decades in Pyatak, demonstrating the resilience or desperation required to survive such an environment. Notorious escape attempts, a prison designed to defy freedom. Like Alcatraz, Pyatak's isolation has not stopped inmates from trying to escape. Over the years, several daring attempts have been made, each reinforcing the prison's reputation as escape-proof. One famous incident in the 1990s involved a group of inmates who attempted to construct a makeshift raft to cross Lake Ladoga. They were caught before launch, and severe repercussions followed. Another dramatic attempt involved tunneling under the prison walls, but thanks to high-tech monitoring and sniffer dogs, the plan was foiled. The island location complicates any escape, as prisoners must survive freezing waters, patrolling guards, and miles of wilderness before reaching safety, conditions few can endure. The guards and security, the eyes and ears of Pyatak. Pyatak's guards are specially trained for maximum security duties. They operate in shifts, manning watchtowers, patrolling the grounds, and monitoring surveillance cameras 24/7. Security measures include infrared sensors, pressure-sensitive ground detectors, and motion-triggered alarms designed to detect any unusual activity instantly. The relationship between guards and inmates is tense. While some guards maintain professional distance, others are reported to be harsh and sometimes corrupt, contributing to the prison's volatile environment. Prisoner movement is strictly controlled, and any violation can trigger immediate lockdowns, often lasting for days or weeks. Life after Pyatak. Fate of released prisoners. Few inmates ever leave Pyatak, and those who do typically spend years in other penal colonies before reintegrating into society. The prison's harsh conditions make rehabilitation difficult, and many former prisoners struggle with social reintegration. Recidivism rates among former Pyatak inmates are high, largely due to the trauma and lack of support after release. Psychological scars from years of isolation and mistreatment often impair their ability to function in normal life. Despite this, some efforts have been made by NGOs and government agencies to provide post-release support, although resources are limited. Cultural depictions and public perception. Pyatak has been featured in Russian documentaries and investigative journalism exposing the brutal realities of the penal system. Its image as Russia's Alcatraz has permeated popular culture, becoming a symbol of extreme punishment and the harshness of Russian justice. Public opinion in Russia is divided. Some view Pyatak as a necessary institution to protect society, while human rights advocates call for reforms and better treatment of prisoners. Internationally, Pyatak is often cited as an example of the challenges in balancing security and human rights in prison systems. Conclusion. Pyatak Prison. A fortress of isolation and control, Pyatak Prison stands as a stark reminder of the lengths societies go to contain their most dangerous offenders. With its island isolation, brutal conditions, and stringent security, it truly lives up to its nickname as Russia's Alcatraz. For inmates, life on this fire island is a grueling ordeal of confinement and psychological torment. For the world, Pyatak is both a symbol of harsh justice and a case study in the complexities of prison reform. As Russia continues to grapple with its penal legacy, Pyatak remains one of its most infamous and impenetrable fortresses, a place where freedom is extinguished and survival is a daily battle. If this look inside Russia's most notorious prison shocked you, please hit that like button and share this video with anyone interested in true crime and prison history. Got thoughts or questions about Pyatak Prison or other infamous prisons? Drop a comment below. We love hearing from you. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into the world's toughest places. Thanks for watching and stay curious.